A very good noon to all of you. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible. I am Nikita and I welcome you to this session, Synonyms and Antonyms for CAT and OMETs. So this session today is very relevant for all of you who are going to take the CAT as well as the non-CAT tests. Okay, so some CMAT aspirants, if you are in the house, this is relevant for you as well. Because vocabulary is something that forms the base of all your management entrance tests. Okay, and your OMETs ask vocabulary directly. Right. So let me show you how learning words, especially synonyms, antonyms, it will help you in comprehending better, in, of course, acing synonym, antonym questions, vocabulary questions in general. Right. So that's what we are going to talk about today. Let us begin. All right. So first of all, through this session, you will learn high frequency words. That's always on the agenda in a vocabulary session. And secondly, of course, I'll show you how to eliminate, how to approach these questions, synonym, antonym questions. Right? Hi, Sai. How are you? All right. So why are synonym antonyms important for CAT? Some of you must be wondering this because there are no direct vocabulary questions in CAT, isn't it? So they are nevertheless important for CAT. Why? First of all, in your RC passages, in your para jumbles, para summary, para completion questions, they're of course composed of words, right? And they tend to make use of these high frequency vocabulary words. So, if you are well versed with these words, if you have made an effort to learn these words, to acquaint yourself with these words, you will comprehend RCs faster and better. Okay, both the things will happen. Your speed will increase, your comprehension will go up, you'll understand the questions better, you'll be able to eliminate better, and your accuracy will be higher. So, it's very relevant for CAT. I'll show you this through a question also today. Okay. All right. Secondly, it's how is it relevant for RC passages? You may be thinking, oh, it'll just help me to understand one or two extra words. That's it. Why go through all the effort for one or two extra words? The reason is that any RC passage, it's a collection of some ideas, and there is a common thread that is running through those ideas, which we call the main idea. Now, if I want to explain something common and highlight different aspects of it in an RC passage, won't I have to use some similar words to make those points? Right? If those ideas are related ideas, if they talk about something common, they'll also make use of certain similar words. If within this I want to contrast something, then I'll have to make use of opposite words. So synonyms, antonyms, analyze a CAT RC passage, you will find within an RC passage the synonyms of various keywords, the antonyms of various keywords. And if you know those synonyms, antonyms better, you'll be able to attempt the RC better. Right? Okay. And the last thing is that, of course, in your paragraph based questions, you make connections, right? So in, let's say, a parajumble, you connect various sentences. Now, last time we talked about how you use grammar to make those connections, right? So you make use of conjunctions, you make use of these adverbial conjunctions such as however, but, etc. But at the same time, when a certain word has been repeated or when its synonym is mentioned in two sentences, then you quickly realize, oh, these two sentences are probably closely related. Right? So synonyms, antonyms, similar ideas, they also help you for understanding and connecting sentences in parajumbles, in para completion. Right? So that's how synonym antonyms are extremely useful no matter which exam you plan to take, which entrance exam, which management entrance exam you plan to take. All right? Good noon, Prajwal. Okay, so here's a question for you. This is a para summary question. Let's read this together and we will see how it has synonyms also, antonyms also, and how understanding that will help you to attempt this question. Right? Ready? Okay. There's a common idea that museum artworks are somehow timeless. So, calling them timeless. What is timeless? Something that stays forever. Something that probably won't is not mortal or probably won't decay with time, isn't it? So there's a common idea that museum artworks, paintings, etc., are somehow timeless objects available to admire for generations to come. So something that is timeless will be available to admire for generations to come. But many are objects of decay. See, there's a but, and I'm contrasting it by saying many are objects of decay. All right. So, antonymous ideas. Even the most venerable old master paintings don't escape. Pigments discolor, varnishes crack, canvases warp. So I'm telling you how the decay happens now, elaborating the decay. Discolor, crack, warp. This challenging fact of art world life is down to something that sounds more like a thread from a morality tale. Inherent vice. That, there's this inherent badness in them, and that's why they decay. Damien Hirst's iconic shark floating in a tank, entitled The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living, is a work that put a spotlight on inherent vice. All right, so death, living. So we see that throughout whatever we've read so far, we are talking about these two antonymous ideas, decay. Okay, and we are saying that, okay, these artworks decay, they are not timeless, right? So this work put a spotlight on inherent vice. How? When he made it in 1991, Hearst got himself in a pickle. Okay, so let me just use a different color to highlight this. This is an idiom. So Hearst got himself in a pickle by not using the right kind of pickle to preserve the giant fish. The result was that the shark began to decompose quite quickly. So decay, decompose. It's preserving liquid clouding. So it was not timeless. It could not be preserved. So preserve, decay, opposite ideas, right? It's preserving liquid clouding, the skin wrinkling, and an unpleasant smell wafting from the tank, right? So, do you see that this paragraph is composed of synonym, antonym, synonymous and antonymous ideas? And understanding this is something that will help you to attempt this para summary question here. You have to summarize this paragraph. Right. So let me see how many of you state a summary that captures the essence of this paragraph. We've read this together. We now understand what it is saying. Right. Let's see what you mark. Okay. Tell me the answer. Okay. Sai, what do you say? Tell me. I want more responses. Come on. Yes. 10 students currently in the session. I want responses from all of you. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me discuss this then. See this. Uh, let's see how we can eliminate here, right? So we said in the beginning that there is this common idea that museum artworks are somehow timeless objects available to admire for generations to come. Then there comes a but, right? So a but is a very important word in language. And you see that the author contradicts this idea throughout the paragraph that no, they are not timeless, isn't it? So if this is the case, can D be the answer? Can D be the answer then? So D was the easiest to eliminate in this para summary question. Museums have to guard timeless art treasures. No, the author is denying this, that they are timeless, right? So eliminated D. Okay. Then A and C, they talk about the responsibility, the role of museums, right? Museums are left with the moral responsibility of restoring and preserving the artworks, since artists cannot preserve their works beyond their life. Is this the key idea, that they are left with the moral responsibility? Have we talked about this? Tell me. We talk about this fact that, okay, artworks deteriorate. This is something that is mentioned. Then we give an example also, that we show this painting, this artwork called The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living, where there was a shark floating in a tank. So through this we are demonstrating how artworks decay. Right. But is the responsibility of museums talked about in this paragraph, the role of museums? Tell me. I don't see it. So, the responsibility, the role of museums has not really been discussed in this passage, in this paragraph. Okay. B is the answer here. The artworks may not last forever. So, this is something that the author wants to emphasize right in the beginning. They may deteriorate with time, something that the author time and again shows through words like pigments discolor, varnishes crack, canvases warp, right? So they deteriorate with time. They may deteriorate with time. The challenge is to preserve them, isn't it? The preservation is a challenge. What is meant by preservation? That you prevent something from decaying as long as you can. So the challenge is to slow down their degeneration. This author tried, this painter, this artist tried this by using a pickle, but he did not use the right kind of pickle. So that means it's a challenge to preserve them. It's a challenge to slow down their degeneration. Right? So the answer was B. Yes, Prajwal, you were right earlier. And yes, what has happened to the rest of you? I want to know this. Why are we not responding? There's no negative marking here. Yes, you're not losing marks. All right. So let's have a look. B is the answer here. And yes, let me tell you the meaning of this idiom, to get yourself in a pickle. What do you understand by this? To get yourself in a pickle is to basically get yourself in a mess, in a difficult situation. That is when you get yourself in a pickle, right? So that was the meaning of this idiom. So through this you saw the importance of synonym antonyms. You also saw how it helps you to connect ideas, how it helps you to get the key ideas. When I talk about so many words like decay, discolor, crack, warp, wrinkle, decompose in one paragraph, that means this must be something important to me. That's why I'm repeating this so in so many ways, right? So this is how it helps you to attempt paragraph based questions. Okay. Now, how is it important for OMETs? It's important because these questions directly are asked in OMETs, just like your grammar questions, right? So in all these OMETs, as you can see on your screens, NMAT, SNAP, IFT, TISNET, MHCT, ZAT, MyCat, you do get synonym antonym questions. And I'm sure that you must be planning to take at least one of them, right? Correct, Prajwal, correct. Okay, so let's have a look at this question now. So now we have direct synonym antonym questions. Okay, so find the word that is closest in meaning to restive. Let's see what you say. So we'll be quick in these questions because these are 20-30 second questions, not more than that. Okay, got my first response. What about others? Be quick. Okay, I've got another. Sai says A. All right, D. What else? So it's A versus D in the chat box right now, with D actually winning. All right. So let's see. Restive is a synonym of restless. Restless. So a restive horse is a restless horse, right? A restive person is a restless person. Somebody not at ease, somebody probably perturbed, something that manifests in his or her body language, right? So remaining is eliminated. Detain, when you detain someone, you stop them from going somewhere else, right? You perhaps even put them in custody. That is when you detain them. You must have heard this in a lot of dramas that talk about detaining a person for questioning, right? So, no, detain is not the idea here. That is the closest in meaning. Apathetic versus bocky. Now, apathetic, it's a common word, it's a high frequency word. This is an adjective. The noun form is apathy. What is apathy? When you just don't care, there's indifference. When you show apathy towards something, you are indifferent towards it. When you're apathetic towards something, you are simply indifferent towards it. You do not care about it, right? So, apathetic is indifferent. Again, restless does not match with it at all. Eliminated. So, the answer is bocky. Bocky also means somebody who is restive, somebody who is restless, right? So here I think elimination would have worked the best. I understand that even bocky may not be an easy word for you. In case you did not know the meanings of both, then this could have been a challenging question. But options such as B and D made it pretty easy. You could eliminate these two right away, just as I did. Then between A and C, recall where you've heard apathetic. In what context have you heard apathetic? And it's a high frequency word. You may have heard it somewhere or the other, right? So we are left with C, which is our answer. All right. Let's go to the next one. Here you have to give me the word that is farthest, the farthest in meaning to the given word. Let's see what you say. Farthest, opposite. I think contravention is a word that you must have heard. Inventive is also a common word. What do you say? C, A, B. All right. So, planned. That means I need something that means unplanned, right? Contravention. When you are guilty of contravention of rules, you have violated some rules. So, contravention is a violation. So, I think the best strategy that works, see, either you know the exact meaning of a word. If you do not, just recall where you read it, in what context you read it. So for instance, how did I explain the meaning to you? I recalled a sentence. When you're in contravention of some rules, you have violated those rules. So I also recalled, oh, I read it in this context, so this is the meaning. You get it? So A cannot be the answer. A means violation. We are looking for unplanned. This class, I just established the use I. It is relevant for CAT and it is relevant for your OMETs. It will give you some high frequency words, words that are used often. So for instance, restive is a fairly common word. You can see it tomorrow in an RC passage. You can see a synonym, antonym or a vocabulary question based on it in your OMETs. Okay, that's why this class is useful, to build that pool so that we comprehend our passages, our paragraphs better and ace these questions. Now, coming to inventive. Invention is something that all of you must have heard, right? Invention. The word inventive comes from invention only. So, somebody who's inventive is very original, comes up with original ideas, is very creative. So, inventive is creative, original. So, even this does not mean unplanned, isn't it? So, something that's original may not necessarily be unplanned. No, you may have planned it. You may have planned to actually discover it. So now comes B and D. Venturesome versus adventitious. All of these, so these three here, they are adjectives, not adverbs. They're all adjectives. B, C, and D. A is a noun. And planned is, of course, an adjective. So, venturesome. Who is a venturesome person? Is this person boring or exciting? And how did you infer either? If you say boring, then what made you think that, okay, this person will be boring? So, associate it with venture. Yeah, so people call their startups their ventures. So, venture is something that you take risk for. And a venturesome person is a person who is likely to take risks, who is willing to take risks, right? Who gets excited by taking risks. So, that person is a venturesome person. Again, it's not related to unplanned. These are answer. Adventitious. Adventitious is something that happens by chance, right? A coincidence. It's not something that is planned. So adventitious is unplanned. So for instance, if I say, my job and her job share some adventitious similarities. That means they just happened by chance, right? So adventitious. So I hope this is clear to you. We saw four words here: contravention, venturesome, inventive, and adventitious. Right? Okay, good, good, good. So D, Delhi is the answer here. Now these are, so question 2, question 3. Question 2 was relatively challenging because Boki was a difficult word. 3 was challenging because these words, they sounded similar, right? They share the root went, right? And some of you may have got confused, let's say between B or D. And they add, I mean, when you look at creative, when you look at risk taking, when you look at unplanned, they might appear similar ideas to you in a short span of time. That's why this was challenging, right? Let's look at this question now. Tell me the meaning of this word peon. That's how we pronounce it, peon. Okay. Let's see what you say. Come on. 20-second questions these are. Okay, Prajwal says A. Just guess. It's okay. Guess right now. Some of your exams don't have negative marking. There you can guess, right? So, a peon is actually a song of celebration. It's a religious song also, right? So usually these are religious songs celebrating God. So in the church, for instance, you sing paeans. In case you've heard this term hallelujah, right? Hallelujah, glory to the God. So hallelujah, it means praise given to God. You are saying glory to the God, praise, you praise God, and there are songs related to it. So these are called paeans. So paeans are songs of celebration, usually celebration of God, right? And that is why C is our answer here. No other option fits. Now here, I wanted to make this point through this question that sometimes you have to know the meaning of the word itself. The options, elimination, they won't help you, right? So use elimination in whichever questions you can. So for instance, in the second question that we saw, elimination helped you, right? So for instance, when we looked at this word restive, remaining and detained, again, if you knew even a slight context of restive, you could eliminate these two, right? But if I look at this question here, you have to know the meaning of PN. And in case you just have a context and a very slight context, you still may get confused between B and C. So sometimes you do have to know the meanings of words. For that, you have to build a pool of high frequency words. And for that, I have suggested you some books, some lists. I keep suggesting them. First is Word Power Made Easy, right, by Norman Louis. I hope all of you finish it. Then I can suggest you more books. And second is some word list. So there I've suggested you Barron's. Barron's 800 is the shortest word list that is available. So at least go through these. Right. C is the answer here, PN. All right. Now, give me a word that is the most dissimilar to the given word. Doleful. Yes, dissimilar. Prajwal says C. Others, what do you say? Dissimilar. I need an antonym. Sai also says C. Okay. All right. A also I've got. So you did not have to give me a synonym, you had to give me an antonym. See, the word dolorous, the word doleful, they are associated with sorrow. Why? Because they share this root, right? So you see that, knowing the roots also helps me. So if you knew that, okay, dolorous is again associated with mournful, doleful is also associated with mournful, that's because this root here, you can call it dole, you can call it dollar, whichever way you are able to remember it better, it means pain. So somebody who's doleful is sad, somebody who's dolorous is sad, in pain, right? And that is why mournful is not an antonym, mournful is a synonym. So eliminated. Then generosity, no. See, the opposite of sad will be happy. Not generous, not merciful. It is C, cheerful. So absolutely correct. Those who said C. Okay. So this was an easy question, not a difficult question. Here you just needed to know the context of doleful and you quickly were able to spot an opposite word. Right? Okay. You have to substitute the word mystique. Okay, that means you have to give me a synonym. So there are different ways of asking the same thing. I'm just giving you various question stems so that you know that in your exam you can get various question stems, but ultimately they're asking the same thing. So tell me, give me a synonym of mystique. What do you say? Come on. Sai says B, all right. Others. Prajwal says A. Sanjeet says B. Mystique is a puzzle associated with the words mystical. Yes. So mystique is not a puzzle, right? The mystique associated with something is something that it's a sort of mystery that makes it fascinating for you. That is the mystique associated with something, right? So if I say the mystique associated with, let's say, artificial intelligence, right? That means the mystery that makes it so fascinating for users. That is mystique. So it could be C or D, but out of these also there is one that is closer. Enigma has more to do with something that's puzzling for you, something that you're unable to figure out. That is an enigma for you, a puzzle for you, right? Charisma, on the other hand, stands for that fascination associated with mystery. So the better word out of these is D, charisma, and not enigma. Okay, so D, Delhi is the answer. Charisma also means the charm that a thing holds because of its mystery, because of the glamour associated with its mystery, right? So D, Delhi, and not C, not B. Fervor is enthusiasm. So if I say XYZ festival is celebrated in our vicinity with a lot of fervor, that means it's celebrated with a lot of enthusiasm, right? So our answer is D, Delhi here. I hope you'll remember it that charisma is the better choice here and not enigma. Okay? All right. Now give me a word that is antonymous to this word, efface. Yes. See, it has face in it. The word has face in it. What do you say? Prajwal has said D, I believe. Others. Sai says 2. Okay. You have to give me an antonymous word. So, obliterate. Who knows the meaning of obliterate? It's a brilliant word actually. It expresses this idea that we call in Hindi namo nishan mita dena. Right? That is obliterate in English. Litter means letter. Okay, letter A, B, C. So to destroy something so completely that not even its letter remains, that is obliterate. To destroy something thoroughly, completely. Okay. Erase also is an idea associated with destruction. Now, create seems to be the opposite idea of both of these, right? Our answer here is 3, create. Now, efface, see, Sanjeet, in case they are close again, the resort that you have is A, you recall them being used in a sentence, wherever you heard them in a sentence, and then decide, okay, which one out of the two options fits better. And B, that you actually know the meaning of the word, for which I have suggested you those two books, right? Basically, one book and one word list. So, those are the two ways of actually attempting a vocabulary question. You eliminate, you arrive at the two close options, you recall them in the context. If you know their meanings already, nothing like it. Okay. So create is our answer here. Efface means to erase something. Okay. So see surface. Surface basically the top part of something, the face of it. To deface is to spoil the face of something, to spoil the appearance of something. So that is why in parks it's written that defacing public property is a crime. So spoiling the appearance of public property. At historical monuments you will find this. So that is deface. Efface is to completely erase, right? E here means out. Okay, so erase. Eliminated, eliminated. Construe means interpret. Okay, so if I say, my statement has been misconstrued, that means it has been misinterpreted. So this has to do with interpretation, nothing with creation or destruction. That's why 3 is going to be our answer here. All right. So these words, efface, mystique, doleful, these are high frequency words, trust me. These are not some archaic words, some literary words, formal words that I'm telling you. These are words that are used often in English. Okay, have a look at this. Give me a synonym of atavistic. Hmm. Atavistic. Okay. Sai says B. All right. What about others? So, all of you, have you heard this word? Throwback. Yes. All of you people on the Instagram, you must have heard this word throwback. Throwback Thursdays, major throwback. Yes. So, atavistic, atavism means a throwback, right? So, see, when I call something atavistic, I mean that it indicates something ancient, something ancestral, uh, and sometimes it may be used negatively also. So, if let's say I am going back, I am a person and I'm going back to a conservative practice that my ancestors used to follow, then someone can call it a return. Someone can tell me that, this is such an atavistic practice. Why are you following it now? Yes, so atavistic means something that indicates ancient, ancestral, and whenever you go back to it specifically, that's when we use this word. So, for instance, when US put a ban on abortion, right? So that was an atavistic measure on their part, right? So this is how sometimes it's used negatively also. Ancestral is going to be our answer. You can associate this word with throwback. When you go back to earlier practices, when you go back to something ancient, right? If you are, like, for instance, afraid of the dark, that is something that's built of inside you from an ancient time, right? So that's an atavistic fear. That's how we use this word. Okay, ancestral, ancient, throwback. All right. Yes, it can be used in that sense. That's why I said that it has a negative connotation also. It can be used in the sense of something regressive, something backward, right? So I am going to write regressive also here. Okay. So others are eliminated. These are again easy words, eliminated, not related. Okay. How about this word furtive? I think we may have covered this in an earlier session. Furtive. Let me see how many of you remember it. Let's see. B, D. All right. I need the opposite, remember. So read the question instructions very carefully. In those exams where we have a number of synonym antonym questions, a lot of times students don't read the instructions properly. If they are in their own flow and let's say the previous two questions were synonym questions, they assume that the next question will also be a synonym question and mark accordingly. It's not necessary. Read the instructions for each and every question. Okay, what about others? Yes, just two responses so far. All right, then see furtive glances. Now again, see I associate it with furtive glances because this is the context in which I read it for the first time. When you throw furtive glances at each other, they are very sly glances. You don't want the other person to notice that you're glancing at him or her. Yes, so that is a furtive glance. So a synonym of it is surreptitious. Surreptitious in a way so that it is not noticeable, unnoticeable. Sly, that is furtive. So this is eliminated here. Incognito is again an idea that you're trying to hide your identity. So a related idea, not a synonym, but of course not the antonym. Eerie, there was an eerie silence in the room. There was an eerie silence in that house. So again, see, I associate it like this because this is the context in which I must have read it for the first time. So eerie means strange. Okay. Now, strange, incognito, sly, eliminated. Forthright. When you are forthright, you are pretty straightforward there, right? You are not trying to hide anything. So D is, of course, the opposite idea here. All right. So good. Those who said D, Sai, Ayushi, Prajwal, absolutely correct. Okay. Let's go to the next one then. Give me the word that is nearest in meaning to verdant. Verdant. See if you've heard this in any context. The verdant beauty of the countryside, the verdant beauty of the hills. If you follow any travel influencers, you may have read this on their feed. Okay, so I've got D, A, C. All right, what else? So everything except B I've got. You have to give me the word that is closest in meaning, remember. So that means I'm looking for a synonym. Okay. So again, there are two relatively close ideas in this question. Okay, so that's what makes this question a little moderate, on the moderate side. Verdant is something that I associate with green. Okay, so the moment I hear the word verdant, I don't know, these green unripe mangoes, they come to my mind, right? Verdant means green. And what kind of green? The green that is characteristic of healthy grass growing in the countryside. So verdant means something green, and basically the lush green plants, the greenery that exists in the countryside, that is called verdant. That's why I said the verdant beauty of villages, the verdant beauty of hillside, right? So the idea is flourishing. These are healthy plants, growing plants, lush green plants, right? So flourishing is the answer here. C. Did anyone say C? Yes. Ayushi said C. Sanjeet said C. Good. Majestic, no. Majestic is something that's very impressive, something that's magnificent. That's not the idea here. Fructiferous, something that gives fruits, right? Something giving fruit. So a fructiferous tree is a tree that will give you fruit, right? That is fructiferous. So it's not about bearing fruit. It's about being lush green. Lush green, flourishingly green. Sorry, Lush. Vernal is something that is associated with spring. Vernal means spring-like. Okay, so this has more to do with spring than with something lush green, right? And that is why out of the two of these, I preferred C. This idea, something that is healthy, something that is growing, something that is lush, this is closer to verdant as compared to vernal. Make sense? So this was a moderate question because of A and C. All right. Let's see this one. What do you say? Canard. What does it mean? Replace it. Synonym. I want a synonym. Last question for the day. I want your enthusiasm. Come on. Okay, I've got A, C, all right. What else? So, A means, okay, A is a coward, easy word. Scoundrel, all of you understand if I call someone a scoundrel, I mean that this person is a wicked person. Jest is joking, something said in jest, that means something said jokingly. Hoax is a false alarm, right? Something that turns out to be a rumor, not true. So a canard is a hoax. A canard is a rumor. It looks like that probably it would mean coward just because of the fact that they're similar words, but no, canard means a hoax. Okay, any news item that turns out to be false, that is a canard. So an unfounded rumor, an unfounded story, right? And that is why our answer is B, Bangalore, not the others. So we learned some high frequency words today. Canard, which is hoax. Verdant, which means something that's lush green. Furtive, surreptitious, or the sly hidden glances. So the opposite is forthright. Atavistic, which is regressive, okay, and can be associated with throwback. Then efface, which means to erase something. Mystique, which means something that's very charming because of its mystery. Doleful, sad, sorrowful. Paean, a song of celebration, particularly for God. Planned, something that's unplanned, is adventitious. Restive, balky, restless. And finally, we did a para summary question, right? So I hope you'll remember these words that you did today. You'll revise them, you'll use them, right? That's how you build your vocabulary. And I hope you'll explore the sources that I suggested to you, WordPar and Barron's 800. Okay, so this is a list of our CAT 22 toppers. It's not an exhaustive list, of course. These are just a few. In case you want to be one of them, then we have this CAT 23 comprehensive program for you. You can enroll in this right now, and you'll get a lot of material, a lot of expert guidance, and in fact, help for this next stage also, not just in cracking CAT. And we prepare you for all the management entrance tests, not just CAT. Also, to make this course accessible for you, we have some scholarships. So if you perform well in this test that is going to happen on the 15th, you can actually get up to a 90% scholarship, and students have won it in the past. So it's not something that's not achievable. Now, in case you want to practice more questions on vocabulary, grammar, paragraph based questions, then we have a section wise daily quiz for you. So on some days it will be VARC, on some days Quant, on some days LRDI. So you can download our app and explore these quizzes there. Our app also has some free tests for various sections for various topics. Again, you can explore them. And this series has been going on. This was the second session. Sorry, this series has had just one session so far, right? I'll be taking its third session. It started from April 6th. And here our focus is to cover questions that are asked in CAT, right? So para summary, para jumbles, para completion, odd sentence out, RC passages. So in case you are serious about CAT, you should attend this series. And yes, if you are on social media, do follow us. I'm sure you've subscribed to the channel. You can download the app and you can follow us on various social media platforms. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Yes, this app you can download from the Play Store. BYJU'S Exam Prep. That's the name of the app right here. BYJU'S Exam Prep. You have to go for the CAT product. Right? All right, then. This is it from my side today. I'll see you next. Yes? Next time. Okay, I don't know when I'll see you, but I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.